Hello, this is Professor Eckhouse, and I'm going to talk about how to multiply and divide mixed numbers along with fractions. All right, so we're going to start with just the basics. How to do it. 1, convert each mixed number to an improper fraction and then multiply or divide as usual and then simplify. Some of the problems will ask you to put your answer as a mixed number, so you'll have to convert back to a mixed number. I'm going to try to remember to do that every time just so you can practice. Okay, so pay attention to what they want the answer to be. Generally, if there's a mixed number in your problem, the answer needs to be back into a mixed number. So, all right, so the first one we've got 2 2/5 times 3/8. All right, so we're going to start with that, 2 2/5 times 3/8. So we're going to take the first one, 2 2/5, and turn it into an improper fraction. So we're going to take 2 times 5 and then add the 2. All right, so 2 times 5 is 10 plus 2 is 12 over 5 times 3 over 8. All right, so let's figure out what we can divide out or simplify or cancel or reduce or however you want to think of it. And I see in the 12 and the 8, they are both even, but I also see that they both have a 4 in them. So go bigger if you can, find the greatest common factor. So we've got 4 times 3 times 3. Okay, so the 12 is broken up into 4 times 3. And then on the bottom we have 5 times 4 times 2. Okay, so the 4 times 2 came from the 8. All right, now we can divide out the 4s, top and bottom. Is there anything else you can divide out? Always look for that first. All I have on top is 3's and on the bottom 5 and 2. Everything's prime, nothing factors out. Now I have to multiply back through. So multiply the 3 times the 3 is 9 and the 5 times the 2 is 10. So the answer is 9/10. Now that is not an improper fraction, so I don't need to convert it to a mixed number. All right, so continuing on, 3 2/7 times negative 1 5/6. That's what that means, times negative. All right, so first thing you want to do is take this negative and bring it out to the front. So we're going to write it out front, and then we're going to rewrite each of these as an improper fraction. So 3 2/7, I take 3 times 7, and then add the 2, and I get 23/7. All right, 1 5/6. Now we took the negative out front, so I don't have to do that again. I'm just going to say times. 1 5/6 is 1 times 6 is 6, plus 5 is 11/6. All right, so now I don't see anything that cancels here. No, 23, 11, 7, 6, nothing. So, in fact, everything there is prime, so nothing is going to cancel, no matter what we do. Oh, no, not everything is prime. I'm sorry, this is 2 times 3, my mistake. 2 times 3, but there's no 2 or 3 up top. All right, so nothing is going to cancel. I'll leave it like that. And so I'm going to just multiply across the top, and I'm going to get 253. And on the bottom, I'm going to get 42. Now, what did I forget? Forgot my negative, so don't forget that. Now, like I said, the book is often, and problems are often going to ask you to keep it as a mixed number in your answer because it was given to you as a mixed number. So you're going to take 253 and divide it by 42. And you can do this the long way if you want to, or you can use a calculator, but you got to keep track of things. So 253 divided by 42 is 6 and some change. So what is the change? So the change is going to be to take 6 times 42, you can just do it on your calculator, to get 252. Well, how far away is that from 253? Well, that's just 1 away. Okay, that's the remainder over 42. Okay, so go back and look at the converting to mixed numbers if you need to. Okay, so that is the mixed number answer. All right, next we're going to look at dividing. And then simplifying if necessary and converting to mixed numbers if necessary. All right, so the first one, take your time on these, don't skip steps, it will help. Convert to an improper fraction, and I get 23/5. Pause the video and think about these first before you watch me, or just pause every few seconds and try to work ahead of me. All right, divided by 5. I'm just going to write divided by 5 first. Okay, so now what does that mean? We keep the first one when we divide, keep the first one, change to multiplication, and flip the second one. So remember 5 is just 5 over 1, right? 5 over 1. So now we've got 23 fifths times 1/5. Nothing is going to cancel out because 23 doesn't have any 5's in it. So I get 23 on top. 5 times 5 on the bottom is 25. So our answer is 23 25ths. All right, the next one, 3 1/2 is going to be 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7 halves divided by 2 1/4. As an improper fraction, 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9 fourths. All right, so now we need to change this to multiplication. So if you watch the video like you were supposed to, I talked about how to do division, which is keep the first one, change to multiplication, and flip the second one. Keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip, right? Okay, so now we're going to look for anything that we can cancel out, and I see that 4 and 2 both have a 2 in them. So 7 times 2 times 2 over 2 times 9. And you should see that the 2's are going to divide out to make 1. And on top I get 14, and on the bottom I get 9. All right, so now how many times does 9 go into 14? 1 time. And how much is left over? 5 is left over, 9ths. So that's the mixed number. All right, next we are going to talk about translating to expressions with fractions. All right, so make sure you're familiar with the words that will be used. Other words for a fraction, quotient. So remember that quotient of A and B means A over B, right? So that's one thing you're going to see. Ratio. The ratio of 3 to 4, or 3 to 4, means 3/4, right? And the last one, the rate, 25 miles, well, I'm just going to say per, means 25 miles per, the fraction right there, hour. Right, so 3 different ways. So the word per is the last one. All right, so translate the following to algebraic expressions. Pause the video and give these a try. All right, so you don't know until you try and figure out that you don't know. You don't know you don't know. But now you know you don't know, and so now you can think about it. All right, the quotient of 7x and 11y, so this is our top and this is our bottom. So the quotient of 7x and 11y. All right, the next one, the quotient of the difference of x and y and z. So the quotient is these two, right? So the difference of x and y, and then the quotient of the difference of x and y and z. All right, so make colors if you need to, so we've got the difference of x and y, x minus y, that's the green, and the quotient of that and z. Okay, so next we're going to look at simplifying complex fractions. Some examples of complex fractions are shown here, and I'm going to show you how all of these could be written. So 6/7, you know what, I'm going to do colors. I'm going to do a different color on top and bottom. Hopefully that will help you be able to see where they are sitting. So there's my 6/7 over 3. Okay, so how else could that be written? Well, it could be written as 6/7 divided by, like we just said, right? That symbol there in black means divided by 3, which is also the same thing as 3 over 1. All right, so now we can take that really complicated thing and turn it into something very straightforward. So 6/7, keep, change to multiplication, and flip the second one. So we get 1/3. 6/7 times 1/3. All right, so let's work with this. So we've got a 6 on top and a 3 on the bottom, and they both are divisible by 3. So 6 is 2 times 3 times 1 on top, and on the bottom we've got 7 times 3. I didn't really need the times 1. I just didn't want to drop it and have you think, oh no, what happened to it? So all right, we've got on the top 2 times 1 is 2, and on the bottom 7. All right, so that's how it can be written, 2/7. But really what I was going for is that this can be written as this. Okay, so that's the key here. And then you can take that and go with it, right? Take it and go with it. All right, so let's try that again. Let's do 3/4. so 3/4 over 5/8. All right, so I want you to pause the video and try to rewrite that just like we did right here. So we took that to that, and I'd like you to try that. All right, so we get 3/4 divided by 5/8. Okay, so first write it like that, so you don't mess anything up. Take it one step at a time, don't get impatient. Keep the first one because it's division. We're going to change to multiplication, and flip the second one, 8/5. Okay, and from there you would simplify, but that's not the point of this. Really, the point is just to show you how to change it to division and then change that to multiplication. All right, the last one was x/2, so the top was x/2, and then the bottom was 5/6. All right, x/2 over 5/6. All right, so try that, see what you can do with it. Pause the video, give it a try. All right, so I get x/2 divided by 5/6. 5/6. Now you need to change it to multiplication, so keep the first one, change to multiplication, flip the second one. All right, so now I will do this one because I just want to show you what this is. X times 6 is just 6x, and 2 times 5 is 10. So we could reduce that if we wanted to, and I'm just going to stop there because I wanted to see the method. Okay. All right, so now simplifying a complex fraction, here's our steps. Rewrite the complex fraction as a division, follow the rules for dividing, and simplify. All right, so that's how we're going to do it. All right, so I already did some for you, so why don't you try these? Okay, so we've got 2/3 divided by 5/6. All right, so similar to one we already did, but I've got some things that are going to cancel out here. So on top, I get 2 times 5, and on the bottom, I get 3 times 6, and 6 has a 2 in it. So I'm going to say 3 times 2 times 3, and then my 2's are going to divide out, and I'm going to end up with 5/9. What did I mess up? If I could go back, I would go back and undo this. But I can't. So I'm going to fix this, and I want you to figure out what I did wrong. This is so common. I see this all the time, and I just did it. I forgot to keep change flip. So I'm going to erase that. I need to keep change flip. I get all ahead of myself. So this is going to be 2/3 times keep change to multiplication, and then flip to 6/5. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to rewrite this as 2 times 3, and on the bottom, 3 times 5, because I still have a 3 on the bottom I need to get rid of. All right, so now my 3's are going to cancel out, and on the top, I get 4, and on the bottom, I get 5. My goodness, I caught that. I would have really confused you. Okay, next one. We've got -5/6 divided by 10. Okay, so divided by 10. So remember, 10 I need to write as 10/1. 10 is 10/1. Okay, so now we get equals. -5/6 is the keep, change to multiplication, and flip the second one to 1/10. All right, so I'm just going to rewrite this in black. Negative, so the negative stays out front, and we've got 5 times 1 on the top, and you don't have to write the 1 if you don't want to, and on the bottom I've got 6 times. Now I know there's a 5 in 10, so I'm going to say 5 times 2. That's my 10. All right, so then the 5's are going to cancel out, and I'm going to get -1/12. All right, so don't lose your negative along the way. Easy to do. All right, next one, a/4 over ab/10. So take the steps and just do what I just did and see what you can do. All right, I've got a over 4 divided by ab over 10. ab over 10. All right, now I'm going to rewrite this as keep the first one, a over 4, change the to multiplication, and flip the second one, 10 over ab. All right, so now let's write all of this together, and I see a 4 and a 10. They both have 2 in them, so I'm going to factor out a 2 as I go. So I've got a times 2 times 5 over 2 times 2 times a times b. All right, now look for things that cancel out, or factor out, or divide out, however you want to think of it, 2's, and then a's. All right, what I'm left with is 5 over 2b. Go circle things if you need to so you don't miss them, but it's 5 over 2b, and there's nothing more we can do with that. Okay. All right, so moving on, the next one is 3 1/4 over 5/8. So what do you think we need to do with that 3 1/4 before we do anything else? Hopefully you guessed it. We need to change this to an improper fraction. Okay, so 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13/4. All right, divided by the bottom is 5/8, divided by 5/8. All right, so now we're going to change it to multiplication. So I've got 13/4 times 8 over 5. All right, so right away I see that 4 and 8 both have a 4 in them. So I'm going to rewrite this with 13 times 4 times 2, that's 8. And on the bottom I've got 4 times 5. All right, so let's cancel out the 4's, divide those out, and I get 26 on top over 5. Now that is, let's just go ahead and put this into a mixed number, just in case. You know, I don't know what kind of problems this would be, what it would ask for, so just in case. So 26/5 is just a fraction, and a mixed number is going to be, how many times is 5 going to 26? It goes in 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. How much is left over to get to 26? Well, you'd need one more to get to 26, so 5 1/5. All right, using negative signs in fractions. So this is pretty important to understand. A fraction can have a negative on the numerator, a negative on the denominator, or a negative out front, and all of those things are the same. Okay, they're the same. Top, bottom, out in front, doesn't matter. All right, so for example, negative 1 over 3 equals 1 over negative 3, which equals negative 1/3. All right, so which of the following fractions are equivalent to negative 5/6? So just take a moment, pause the video, and circle the ones you think are equivalent. All right, so you should find that negative 5 over 6 and 5 over negative 6 are equivalent to negative 5/6. Okay, so we're going to simplify fractions with order of operations next. So we have talked about grouping symbols. We have talked about parentheses, square brackets, and curly brackets. We've also talked about absolute value acting like grouping symbols, and now you need to know that the fraction bar acts as a grouping symbol. So we would do the top and the bottom separately, and then finish, okay? And that is only if, you know, nothing cancels out with factors. So things have to be completely factored. You can only divide out if there's no multiplication, no addition and subtraction, or you have factored something out, which we won't do in this class. Okay, we're not going to be factoring things out and doing stuff like that too much in this class, so don't worry about that quite yet. All right, so to simplify an expression with a fraction bar, simplify the top, simplify the bottom, and then simplify the whole fraction. Okay, so once you have dealt with the addition and subtraction on the bottom, you can factor out any factors. All right, so example 6. 8 plus 7 over 9 minus 4. So I see a 4 and an 8 here, but you cannot factor them because there is addition and subtraction there. Okay, it would totally give you the wrong answer, completely wrong. All right, so on the top, we're going to take across the top first, simplify the numerator. So 8 plus 7 is 15. And then we're going to simplify the bottom. 9 minus 4 is 5. So do them separately. Now we can see we get 15 over 5. 15 over 5 is the same thing as 15 divided by 5, which is 3. Okay, so the answer to that is 3. All right, why don't you try that one? Hopefully you paused the video and gave it a try. One biggest mistake people will do is this. Why is that wrong? Because they're added. You cannot factor those out. Factoring something out, think of the word. They have to be factored. That is not factored. It's added. Okay, very different. So on top, we've got 2 plus 3 is 5. And on the bottom, we have 2 plus 8 is 10. 5 over 10 is 5 over 2 times 5. And we get 1/2. Okay, 5/10 is 1/2. All right, let's try this one. I would encourage you to pause the video and see if you can get these right. So order of operation, top and bottom. So first we do the top, this whole thing up here, and then we do the bottom, this whole thing here, okay? So that's what we're going to do. Let's start with the top. I'll make the top 5 minus 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, and I'm going to keep going. 5 minus 9 is -4. All right, now let's do the bottom. 2 cubed is 8. It's not 6, it's 8. 2 times 2 times 2, not 2 times 3, right? 2 times 2 times 2. All right, plus 4. All right, so on the bottom, I get 12. -4 over 12. So let's take this a step further. I know 4 goes into 12, so I'm going to bring my negative out front like we talked about. And 12 is 4 times 3. So my 4s are going to divide out, or factor out, and I get -1/3. All right, next one, give that one a try. Okay, hopefully you gave it a try. So at the top, you always want to do parentheses first. So 9 minus 5 is 4. 4 is squared. Next step is going to be 4 squared is 16. Okay, now let's do the bottom. So we've got 9, use a different color. 9 squared is 81, minus 5 squared is 25. All right, so 81 minus 25 is 56. Now we finished the top, we finished the bottom, we can continue on and simplify this. I know that 16 is 8 times 2 and 56 because I've been practicing my multiplication is 8 times 7. All right, so that means those are going to divide out and I get 2 over 7. All right, last one. Give this one a try. All right, so the top, I get 4 times -3 is -12, plus 6 times -2 is -12. All right, -12 plus -12 is -24. All right, I'm done with the top. All right, now I'm going to do the bottom. It's black. All right, -3 times 2 is -6 minus 2. -6 minus 2 is -8. All right, what happens to the negatives? Hopefully you see that they cancel out. 24 is 8 times 3, and 8 is just 8. Or you could think of it as 24 divided by 8. 24 over 8. So the 8's go away and you end up with 3. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching.